Hi, I'm Chris Koetke, and today we are talking about the differences between brines and marinades. And while both are liquids and both are going to flavor whatever we're going to put inside it, we use them for very different reasons. When it comes to a marinade, marinades are built largely on acidic ingredients. In this case, it's red wine with some other things in here like, celery and onions and carrots, herbs, spices, etc. And when we take a raw piece of meat and place it inside of the marinade, what happens is that acidity starts to attack the meat proteins, and basically as the meat sits in the marinade, it gets more and more tender. That's why we have the acidic ingredient, which can also be things like vinegar, citrus juice, whatever. Now, we would use a piece of meat that's relatively tough to put inside of the marinade, because otherwise, if you take a tender piece of meat and put it in the marinade, it makes the meat almost dried out. So we use marinades for tougher pieces of meat. How long do I let it sit in here? Depends on the piece of meat, depends how big it is. It could be several hours, it could be up to overnight for a big piece of sort of tougher meat. Now, brines, totally different story, because a brine doesn't have acidic ingredients. Instead, a brine is built on water, salt, sugar, and some different flavoring elements. Like here I have some garlic, and I have stick cinnamon, and some different herbs. And what I'm going to do with this is pour it on top of something like a chicken, which is tender, so I don't need to put an acidic ingredient with the chicken. But what the brine is going to do is totally different. It's not going to tenderize the chicken. Instead, what it's going to do is it's going to basically bring the salt inside the meat. So when you cook the chicken later, it retains more moisture. Translated, if I put this onto a rotisserie, when it comes off that rotisserie, the inside of that chicken, the meat, is going to be so incredibly juicy, and it's going to be flavorful because of the garlic and cinnamon and whatever else you decide to put into your brine. Now, once the brining or the marinating process is done, they're ready to be cooked until they are absolutely and deliciously perfect. To get other helpful tips, go to betterbarbecueblog.com.